The next one, what we call the big three, is your sleep system. What are you going to sleep in? What are you going to sleep on? So you will need, whether you think you will or not, some form of mat. Now, whether that's an old army bedroll, which offers very, very little protection against the cold seeping up from the ground, but is better than nothing, or a closed cell foam mat, same thing, better than nothing, or an inflatable mat. You do need something to keep you off the ground, away from the cold, and comfortable-ish. I mean, you're sleeping on the ground, you're never going to be comfortable, but you can be more than uncomfortable. So, there are plenty of cheap mats. There are, the climate mat range, I think, is 15-20 quid, it's cheap as anything. There's plenty on eBay, there's plenty on Amazon. Don't go for the cheapest thing ever. And if you're just starting out, don't go for anything expensive either. Because, critically, you need to know whether that style of mat will suit you. And what I mean by style of mat is, if you look behind me, you can see this is my mat. And this has, I don't know what you would call it, pockets, I guess, pocket baffles. Others are just long baffle tubes, either horizontal or vertical. There's all sorts of different types. There are ones with built-in inflation pumps. They're not very good, but they are quite large. There are ones with built-in pillows. You don't need that, but you can get them. And you need to figure out, for your way of sleeping, what works for you. A couple of things when you're looking for a mat. You need to know, or have a rough guesstimate, how you sleep. Are you a front sleeper, a back sleeper, or a side sleeper? Or do you wriggle around all night? Now, there are mats made for all of those types of things. And later, when you upgrade 2 or 3 times down the road, once you know exactly what you like and what you don't like, you will specifically look out those types of mats for your type of sleeping. And the other thing to look out for is the R rating. Now, I don't know why it's called R, probably radiating or something like that, I don't know, no idea. But the higher the R rating, the more protection you have from your body heat leaching out into the ground and the ground leaching cold to you. So higher R rating on the mats have various insulation methods. Some have some actual insulation stuffing, if you like, very thin, but it's there. Most have some form of reflective material inside. They will all have some form of baffling, some way of containing heat. And you need to know what the R rating is for your mat, depending on where you're going camping. Now, if you're while camping in let's say the south of England, in the middle of July, when it's 28 degrees outside, there's no wind, there's never going to be any rain, you don't need to worry about having a mat with a high R rating, just one that's comfortable. However, if you are going wild camping on the Highland Way in the middle of September, don't do that, by the way, it's going to get cold and wet and everything's going to be damp, and you need a high R rating. The rule of thumb is if it's going to be 0 or below, you need something R rated of 3 or above, and the higher the rating, the better insulation you have from the ground. It's also more expensive the higher up you go, unsurprisingly. So don't go out and buy a high R-rated mat day one. The chances are that although it'll be lovely and warm, the baffles will be in the wrong direction for you. It won't suit your style of sleeping. It's too heavy, too short, too wide, whatever it'll be wrong. And you will have blown quite a lot of money. So start with something off Amazon. Start with the £20 to £40 range for your first few wild camps, knowing that it's not going to be what you stick with for very long. This is an exploratory operation at this point. Your first 2, 3, 4 camps are always exploring what you like, what you don't like, what works, what doesn't. Alright, let's say you found yourself a mat for your first wild camp. You're reasonably happy with it, you can inflate it easily enough, you don't have to have a pump at this point. Most mats will come with a dry sack, with a pump sack rather, which will help you inflate. If not, breathe into it. You're never going to keep this for very long, don't worry about it. Then the next thing you need to look at is a bag. Now I say a bag, sleeping bag, because at this point that's the cheaper end of the options that are available to you. You could look at straight at quilts. I wouldn't suggest it. You may end up with a quilt. I certainly did. But bags are cheaper, and you don't want to waste your money up front until you're really into wild camping, until you've got the bug. So again, same problem with your sleeping bag. You need to know the conditions that you're going to be in. If you're going to be really warm, and the nights are going to be really warm, 10, 12, 15 degree nights over the summer, 2-season sleeping bag, absolutely fine. Cheap as anything, 20 quid easy. Amazon, eBay, wherever you like, doesn't matter. If it's going to be a bit colder than that, you need to look for a 3-season bag, down to about, let's say, the very low centigrades, maybe 0. But if you're going to go out in anything under 0 consistently, then you need to really look at a good bag. Now, sleeping bags have comfort ratings on them. So they have comfort ratings and they have extreme ratings. However, unlike the R rating on your sleep mat, the rating of your sleeping bag, there is no worldwide regulation standard, which means manufacturers can do what they want. They can say it's down to minus 10 degrees and there's nothing you can do about it. So really all you can do is go with a respectable or known brand. Have a look at the bags if you can. Choose something that feels right. Again, chances of you changing your sleep system if you get the bug, almost guaranteed. Then you need to decide what type of bag you're after. You've got the standard rectangle bag. Those are less popular nowadays, and certainly as the temperature ratings go down into the zeros and below, they're pretty much non-existent. You've got the mummy style sleeping bags, which taper off to your feet, generally have an insulated hood as well. Then above that you've obviously got the quilts. If you've just started out, I wouldn't suggest a quilt. They do take a little bit of getting used to, but they are much better in the long run. So let's assume you found yourself a sleeping bag you like the look of. The chances are it will be a synthetic sleeping bag, which means the fill inside is a synthetic material. That's absolutely fine for 2 to 3 season, even some of the 4-season bags. However, if you really want really lightweight and in very good insulation, then it's a down fill is what you look for, and the price goes up again. So the 4-season bags, the way below zero bags, generally down bags. Don't worry about those. Get a synthetic one in budget, find the style that you like, go from there. Oh, thing with cheap sleeping bags, you can double them up. If you get two-season sleeping bags, put one inside the other. Nothing wrong with that, as long as you want to carry it. So, on the first one out with the Vivi, I had 2 actually sleeping bags I could have chosen. I had picked up for 2-3 season use an OEX EV300 Fathom. Nice little bag, really nice. But I also managed to get a Snug Pack Elite 4, which is effectively a 4-season bag. I think it goes down to something like -7. I'll put it on the screen if it's not that. And I think that's what I used the first time out, which was fine. Nice and warm in a bivvy bag. You need a little bit more insulation, I guess. That was good, but don't stress all that. So you've got some form of shelter. You've got something to sleep in and something to sleep on. And the next one of the big 3 is strange calling it a big 3. It's really big 4. Anyway, sleep system is counted as 1, sleeping bag and mat. So next bit of the big 3 is your bag.